request to do a staccato or 1911 grip pinning video. So I'm not going to show you how to do it. I'll show you how I did it. There was a couple requests, so let's get into it here. If you guys didn't see the video on the 20,000 round XC, it's kind of cool. Seems to be gaining traction, so thank you guys. I guess I'm supposed to say like and subscribe. I didn't practice that either. That was just natural. Oh, it's so easy to boast in the gun industry. You gotta try to keep it to a minimum. Keep it to a minimum, boys. All right, so the grip's taped. There is a pretty good chunk of cardboard here, about a 1/4 inch of added surface. As I am gripping the pistol, it puts these primary side fingers farther forward. A little bit more real estate there. That's my grip right there. We'll probably do a complete video on grip. I just need some more help with that. We're gonna cut this stuff off here. It's just hockey tape. Goon tape's great. It's kind of spendy and kind of hard to find, but this is just some hockey tape off of good old Amazon, of course. And it starts right there. All right. And you guys might ask what ammunition was in the gun. That was a carry ammo. That was the Spear Gold Dots. Phenomenal cartridge. All right. You guys are probably starting to see my little cardboard there. Yeah, I know, it's weird. It works. So I've had this little chunk of cardboard taped up for a while, and I just continue to retape the gun and put on the same little slab of cardboard that's taped up. All right. I didn't plan on doing this video, so I got a little time today, set up the camera, and we'll just go over it real quick. As you can see here, wow, that thing is just hammered. It's pretty much stuck down. You know, I fitted the pin in such a way that this thing doesn't have any movement, which I like a lot. I've done others where the pin wasn't fitted quite as well, so it was a little loose, and this moves. It doesn't matter if it moves. I think it's better if it's locked down with a little bit of tension. We'll do this Allen wrench. Hammer forward, so when I pull the mainspring housing out, the spring isn't as compressed. Another thing too, if you guys lose the mainspring housing pin, an AR trigger pin works perfectly. I usually run a magwell, but somebody took it because they want to mess with it. And I was like, I don't have that factory flush fitting pin, so the little AR trigger pin has worked forever. And there's the mainspring housing and back of the pistol there, which kind of matters not. So if you want to do it my way, I did figure this out. I wasn't shown this. I used to just tape them down, or you can put a little plastic wedge, basically just taking the spot of where the pin is, the pin that I had installed there. The plastic wedge thing works great because it's fast. The problem is it's only going to be, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch roughly, and it sits just on the corner here, so it can fall out. Mine's never fallen out when I ran the plastic wedge, but I did it for some others and they had issues. It falls into the hammer strut channel, as if that's what it's called. I don't know what it's called, but where the strut goes down on top of the plunger. So we'll pull this out. You can see my little fitted pin there. So that is an 1/8 inch hole done with a drill press, and then an 1/8 inch Allen wrench that I cut down and smushed in the hole. Nice. I'll find that in a second. So there's the mainspring housing with a little hole in it. And then that 1/8 inch Allen wrench goes in there. You kind of need to cut the Allen wrench off as if you were to extrapolate that distance there. That makes sense. So you have to follow this angle for the distance of length on your 1/8 inch Allen wrench before you cut it and start fitting it. And we'll get into the fitting here as soon as I find my little chunk of Allen wrench pin. Okay, well, the pin's completely gone. A great energy drink, by the way. I'll put a link to that down below. So now I'm gonna get a new 1/8 inch Allen wrench. And you know what? I'm glad that I lost the pin because I was off. I think it's a 16th. Here's a full size 16th Allen wrench and it fits perfectly. So, recap here. 16th inch drill bit, 16th inch Allen wrench. Or you could get 16th inch round stock to make a round pin if that matters so much to you. But if you can tell, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try and cut it off about even with the line that I'm extrapolating from that angle. I'm gonna go grab some tools and we'll make a new pin. All right, so we're back. I've got some tools here. We'll go over the tools that you could use, the tools that I'm using real quick. I have a baby bandsaw from Milwaukee. You could use a Sawzall, you could use anything that's gonna cut metal. You could probably get away with using wire cutters. Some of you might have just basic hacksaws. So I'm just gonna mark it here with some wire cutters. Make sure it's seated all the way and kind of follow that angle. I can always take metal off. Can't really put metal back on. So there we go, making my mark. See that? I'm also not responsible for you guys messing with any of your guns. This is just for entertainment purposes. Okay, so there we are. I'm gonna score it by just twisting the Allen wrench around, just so I can make my mark. Here we go, that worked great. So you can see that nice scoring. And now I'm going to hold it and cut it almost all the way. I don't want to lose this next little chunk because it's very short. You could drill a hole deeper if you want, but it's unnecessary, and I wouldn't like to lose the integrity of the mainspring housing. All right, that's it there. Like I said, good wire cutters, you could probably cut through it and file / sand it down, whatever. Hacksaw, Sawzall, fill in the blank. So cut through it. I'm gonna just grab it with the pliers and break it off. And now we have our new and improved pin. All right, let's cut to it here. So I'm gonna hold it and just sand off the top edge. We're gonna get into how to fit this thing. That's probably gonna be important for you guys. I wasn't planning on doing that, but here we are. Still got it plugged in. Another thing, make sure this doesn't get too hot when you try to push it back in the mainspring housing. The plastic is definitely susceptible to melting. So we push that in there again. And now we're kind of back to where we started, except for the pin needs to be fitted. So let me show you what interferes. See the back of the grip safety there? It has a ear or a ledge. So the whole idea of this pin is to hold down that ledge right there. And we're a little bit long. We'll take maybe, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch off, 32nds of an inch, and test it out again. So I'm just gonna lightly hit this thing. I don't want it to get very hot. Okay, so right here I'm just looking at the fit between the top of the mainspring housing and the bottom of the beaver tail. And we're pretty close. That's not much of a gap right there. So let's try to put it together-ish. Make sure the strut falls between the beaver tail. There's a million videos on 1911 disassembly. I'm not gonna get into that. And if you guys are overwhelmed by what I'm doing right now, just go check out some videos on 1911 assembly. All right, so I definitely got the length a little bit rich. You can see the mainspring housing isn't quite flush with the bottom of the grip. We'll pull that off again. I'm gonna pull the pin out. No, it's actually pretty stable. Again, just lightly hit it. It can get hot. That's a perfect example of the pin being pretty much on the same angle as the top of the mainspring housing. Okay, now we should have the length right. And it looks phenomenal. Mainspring housing is flush with the grip of the pistol. And that's it. It's a phenomenal fit. It holds down that little ledge exactly how I wanted it to. We'll reinstall the mainspring housing pin. Allow wrench here for some assistance. And just like that, we have a pinned grip safety. Nothing to it, boys.